Lower Decks crew, what's up?
Hello.
Hey, welcome to New York Comic Con. Thanks for being with us on
Thanks for having us,
CBR
man.
today. I want to ask you all about some fun facts we learned about Barney just a moment ago, but we're gonna go right into Lower Decks. What a gem of a series! This is you guys are bringing us season 5 now. You're wrapping it up for some reason. I mean, why? Like, why?
It's a mystery. It's a
Why?
mystery. Yeah.
That's
Why?
the best way I've heard that put. You guys are ending the show for some reason. We agree.
Yeah.
We were like, that felt like enough.
Yeah, we're full.
You're full.
Yeah.
You're full.
We were having a blast, and then somebody went, they flicked the lights twice, and we were like, oh, whoa, we better stop.
I didn't know it got this late.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess we got to go home.
They were like, you don't got to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah, they played
basically?
closing time.
They
Yeah.
played the song and everything.
Yeah.
Which is weird because it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
So, like, we weren't even there.
We're to be
But
sent home
They
from
just-
something 2D.
They put the song "Closing Time" on over the speakers. It was
brutal.
it was
Yeah.
brutal. It was
Yeah.
brutal.
I mean, how much as a cast have you guys gotten to interact? Like, do you guys record it all together, or are you only seeing each
No,
other at
never.
like, events like these?
Well, it's funny. Like we almost never record together, but we have gotten very close. I think that's just because Mike has assembled a beautiful team of weirdos, and like I met Eugene for the first time like just a couple months ago.
Yeah, a couple months ago at Tawny's birthday party.
Yeah.
Really?
I made
Yeah.
them hug to prove that neither of them was a hologram.
Yeah.
But isn't this the first time we've all been together?
Yes.
At the same time?
Which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Individually, we've all hung out.
Really
Yeah.
yesterday,
Yeah.
You guys are so
crazy.
mysterious.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're actually all the same person. We just change. Yeah.
Usually you're like on Mandalore or whatever, Eugene. Like you're in Star Wars
Yeah,
half
yeah.
the
He's
time.
always on Mandalore.
Mandalore. Just to hang out. That's where I vacation.
That's why I've never met him until a few months ago.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, Mike, you like what a killer cast that you assembled with this show. I mean, both talent wise and just like cool people. Also,
It's insane.
I must say. But I'm always curious when you know, especially when it comes to voice casting. You know, you write these characters a certain way, and then you bring on actors to mesh with them. Like, have any of these characters? Like how have they changed along the way with the voice roles, with the actors that you brought in to voice them?
Some of it is exactly the way we intended at the very beginning. But also at the very beginning, when we were doing casting, I was writing sides that weren't even in the show just to have more for each person to say, right? Just to hear them talk. And every single one of these guys did stuff in their audition that inspired entire episodes where I'm like, well, wait, we're laughing and just... I didn't think that was as big of a deal as it became. And then as the show continued, instead of writing and then you guys interpreting, it kind of became more like a conversation, which I think is what you always hope happens, where you start to write up. Like, I'm like, okay, how can we put this as funny as possible for Tawny or for Jack or for anybody? And then they get in the booth and they're like, well, I can make this funnier. And it keeps happening. They're like,
rude, right?
no, it's good. It's
Rude
good.
of us.
Because then I'm like, damn it. Now I have to write it funnier. But then we also just, as we became friends, I think that came through on screen as well. That like when you're writing for friends, it's different from writing characters that are just kind of springing forward. So it's exactly kind of what you'd hope would happen.
Yeah, and I think with any great animated comedy series, like there is a curve, and you were kind of hinting at that where like you can get a little bit more cartoonish in a lot of ways, like with these characters from how we sort of first meet them in season 1 to how they eventually evolve into season 5. I'd love to hear from like the cast, like when you guys first started playing these guys, where did you sort of like see the potential to like really lean in comedically, and now that we're, you know, a few seasons later, like where have you brought them to a point where you didn't necessarily see them at first?
I think I really like started to learn the difference in Mariner's speeds of like when she's in like action kick-ass mode, that's not always when she's like funniest. Like she kind of needs to like relax, but it kind of taught me a thing about comedy and how I do comedy, because there is something very symbiotic about like needing to relax into jokes and allowing things to flow, and that being funnier than like being too on top of it or too loud or too fast. And I really discovered that because I'd be like, man, that episode was like really funny, but like I don't feel like she really like had any cool adventures. And then I'd be like, oh, that episode had so many cool adventures, but I wish there were more jokes. And then I was like, oh, this is a me thing. Like I'm feeling the difference in that.
But that being said, when you're in an adventure episode and you perform a Mariner joke like you're running downstairs carrying a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Because like it just has to get out, you know? And like you would
yeah.
inject little things like first season where you're just out of nowhere, you're like, get out of my way, Jennifer. And that like wasn't in the script, but you just had imagined that you had to push. A whole character was created because of that.
Yeah, I thought she was going to be a human, and you made her an Andorian named Jennifer. That's one of the wilder
It's
things
just, it's
you've
not
done.
spelled the way you think it is.
How's it spelled?
It's spelled like
tell them.
Jennifer.
How did
I
I
didn't
think
know
it
there was
was?
going to be a follow-up question on that.
Because you know they're
Damn
going to
it.
run with it. They're going to be like,
I'm like,
unveiled canon spelling for Jennifer.
And then Y, you know.
Yeah.
Like the Wookiee homeworld.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, in terms of like voicing Boimler, I remember like I think originally he was kind of created. Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but he was kind of like the straight man foil to Mariner's chaos.
Yeah, like
and
balance.
And like now I think Boimler has his own brand of neuroses that I definitely injected in there, or like we found along the way.
Oh, dude.
Just
He's
the
all
Boimler
neuroses
scream
now.
alone. Yeah, he's all neuroses
Yeah.
now. But I remember like the early drawings being very like, like I disapprove of you. I'm the stick in the mud. But just all the screaming came later.
Very quickly with you, how much fun and heart and you completely dissolved the purpose of the character, and it became.
I ruined your character. is what
No,
you're
because
saying.
like in a
Damn.
pilot, a character is like it's like a support structure for like a story, but you brought so much comedy to it that I was like, oh no, this character's really, really funny, you know. And then we like saying writing up to it, like I know we have you scream a lot, and sometimes we're like we have a lot of Jack screams, and we'll say you don't have to scream here. We have a scream we can use for this, and Jack will be like,
I refuse.
I've got a new scream for this.
Because I can
No
hear
canned
when they
screams.
repeat my screams, so I'm like, this sequence needs a new
Wow.
scream. And the whole ski sequence this season, almost all new screams.
New screams.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
big time.
Yeah, for me, I feel like Tendi started out with me just trying to be as optimistic, reading like a lot of scientific jargon, and that's where I came in, just like optimistic, bright-eyed, kind of sweet. But as the season went on and as time went on, they would push me. They were like, "We love it when you got really excited here," or "We want her to get angry," or "We want." So then I started finding the levels of Tendi, and then they started writing storylines for her, and so she became a lot more nuanced, and also they gave me the freedom to improvise more and sort of like put my whole body in. I was like pretty nervous at first. Really? Yes, I was nervous at first, but they it became a back and forth of like, you can go bigger, and I was like, you sure? Because sometimes people are usually like, please go smaller. So I'm like, where do I tune in here? And they're like, no, you can do it. And I'm like, really, I can? And so then I got to go as big as I wanted, and then once I got that permission, she became I guess as fully developed as I think she.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, because you want to do it right. And
dare
also
you,
with
Tony.
animation, you're not sure, especially in the first season, you don't know the tone of how everything's going to
Yeah.
tie together, and so you don't want to like not give them enough options. But then once I heard like, oh, this is what they're looking for, this is how fast, this is. You can go for it. It's like there can be more yelling. There's a lot more yelling. There was a lot more yelling that got encouraged.
We also did an episode first season where you unexpectedly kick a bunch of ass, but sound really optimistic when you're doing it. The big trial episode.
Yes.
And after that, we were like, wait, Noël kicks ass really
Yeah,
good. We
yeah.
should have her do that way more.
And
often.
I like when they started writing Tendi kicking ass, because then I get to
Some of my favorite scenes in the
yeah
show.
yeah
Kicking ass.
because then it's also like, how do I kick ass but sweet?
Yeah, when a sweetie kicks her ass, that's the most.
Also,
brutal
if you
ass
make a
kicking.
sweetie mad,
Oh,
You've
careful.
just answered like so many men's dating profiles. Kicks ass but sweet.
Oh my god.
Kicks ass but doesn't even know it.
From a rich alien family.
Eugene, how about you?
It was good initially that I didn't know that it was a Star Trek show and didn't know that he was a that he had like the cyborg implant, because I think I would have gone into it thinking, oh, they want this brooding robot-ish guy, and it feeling a lot more lower deck, like brighter and lighter. I was able to kind of stay in my own voice, which is not that. I still get confused that they're like, is your is your parents home? You know, type thing when I answer the phone. So you know, it's like
your cell phone.
yeah, I know. They're like,
Your parents.
hi,
parents home?
is your dad home, child boy? And I'm like, no, it's me. Anyways, what? But I think being able to come up with that energy and then seeing what Rutherford is like, and then growing into, you know, doing the Technobabble, but being really excited about it, was really fun to start playing in, because I feel like in a lot of Trek, well, I mean in a lot of sci-fi in general, the Technobabble stuff, it feels like people are just flowing through it. So to have like an engineer who's like, oh my gosh, I get to say this stuff, and have it like a positive spin of like, can you believe we're doing this, is cool, because then it also makes me excited to do it, which usually is scary.
Yeah.
Also, thank God we're reading all the Technobabble off a page when we're doing
Oh,
voice acting.
I know.
Thank God we're not
Guys are
memorizing that.
Oh, you,
Guys, no, Noël is here.
Oh yeah, Noël
I've been
memorizes
memorizing
hers.
it all of
Yeah.
my
Wow,
Oh,
built
no.
different. Built
Yeah.
different.
And then she tries to physically do it as she's
Yeah, definitely.
For all these guys, there's always been comedy in Star Trek, and we've amped it up so much, and it feels both completely shocking to hear Starfleet officers be funny and be knowledgeable at the same time, and be capable, but also be very, very human. And Orion. But at the same time, like, but making you laugh, like it felt like it was always in Star Trek, but we just hadn't seen it. And working with these guys, like giving Eugene or really Noël, a lot of the times, all of you guys, like Star Trek terminology that you have to rattle off and sound familiar and relatable and funny. Nobody does it like you guys do. Like we give you impossible stuff to do, and it's so funny. You make it. You make
man.
You make engineering funny. It's great.
Yeah.
You do.